Today's word is background. You must have heard this word when you are trying to set a wallpaper in your phone. We normally say set a background, or when you are setting a wallpaper at in your laptop, we can say set as desktop background. So you have heard this term regarding to that context. But let me tell you, we can use some of the words in some different situations or with some different context. So let us see how we can use background with different contexts. Okay, so first we can use it as a noun. Noun is a name of person, place, animal, or thing. Okay, so let us see how background is used as a noun. The part of a picture, scene, or design that forms a setting for the main figure or object, or appear farthest from the viewer. That is what I have just told you, that whenever we are trying to set something, that it presented at the back, that is presented at the back, and your work or something that is of more importance is on the front. So we can say that we are setting up a background, such as majestic Himalayas in the background. Suppose give you an example. You have taken a selfie, okay, near Tibet or near Himalayas. So you, that means the person who is taking the selfie is the foreground or is at the foreground, but the Himalayas or the mountains or the scenery is at the background. Okay, next, we can also use background when we are talking about a person's background. That means we are talking about his family, we are talking about his experience, we are talking about its culture, his culture. Okay, so let us see how we can use background in that context. One's origin, education, experience, etc. In relation to one present character, status, etc. I have just told you we can use background when we are talking about the background, or when we are talking about the family background, or when we are talking about the culture, education, what person has done. We can use background in that context also, such as he came from an educated background. That means suppose we are talking about a person and someone wants to know whether that person is humble or not, that person is educated or not, that person is okay to work with or not. So the other person is suggesting that he came from an educated background. Here educated background means that all of the family members and himself too is well educated. We can also take another example. He came from a generous or rich background. That means all of his family members, including him, are very rich. Okay, next. So now let us see how we can use background as adjective. Adjective, as you know, describes the noun, pronoun, etc. So let us see how we can use background as adjective. Of, relating to, or serving as a background. Okay, when something is serving as a background, we can say that it is presented as an adjective, as background noise of people while recording. I am just taking the example of myself today. When I am recording this particular lecture for you, it might be sometimes that some people or some children are just shouting at the back, and my voice is at the front. So when I am taking the lecture, I am recording it, my voice is at the foreground. But the children, those who are just playing and just shouting at the back, that means that becomes background noise. That becomes background noise. Okay, and normally I have to remove that. Now let us see how we can use background as a verb. To supply a background to. That person's painting is backgrounded by a beautiful sunset. That means in that painting, it might be possible that there is a person sitting in a park or sitting in somewhere, but the background is of what? Background is of sunset. So we are saying that that person's painting is backgrounded by a beautiful sunset. Okay, so the person or the chairs or the birds, the trees are at the foreground. That means they are near to us, but the sunset is at the background. Next, to supply a background of information for. We can also use background when we are preparing a background of information to support some points. So whenever the reporters are presenting a particular news, they have to produce some other information also that is related to that particular incident's background. Okay, let us see this example. To background themselves, reporters dug through all available files on the case. That I have just told you, that to background their points or to support their points, these reporters, they have to dig deep to get more of the information. Okay, next, to give scant attention to, put in the background. Let me give you another example. Suppose you have done a very great work, you have done very sacrifices in preparing something, but your sacrifices is not giving that much attention, and nobody is giving credit to you. So we can say that your sacrifices has been backgrounded. Your sacrifices has been backgrounded. Whatever you had done to prepare that thing, that nobody is taking care of, nobody is giving attention to, that means your work or your sacrifice has been backgrounded. Let us see this example. His sacrifices during war of independence and lifetime of public service were largely background. So let us here we are talking about a person who has sacrificed everything in the war of independence, and also after independence he has served a lifetime for public service, but neither the government nor the people, they are not giving any particular attention to that particular person. That means his sacrifices and his public service is largely backgrounded. Background means just we had just sidestepped it, we are not giving particular attention to it. Okay, next, now let us see some of the antonyms and synonyms of this word. Other words that we can use in place of background are backdrop, culture, education, environment, history, practice, qualification, tradition, training, and upbringing. So these are some of the synonyms or other words. Let us see some of the opposite. This should be opposite words or opposites only. The opposite of background is foreground. Okay. So that's it for today, and I would like you to write a sentence using background and post it in the comments below. Thank you.